Hello lovely viewers, welcome to my channel. I am Anna, hope your day is so well. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Jess Edwards had been one of the most radiant and quietly captivating presences on this season of Bachelor in Paradise. From the first day she stepped onto the beach, she brought a calm energy that stood out among the chaos of broken hearts and second chances. Her journey, however, would come to a devastating end, a breakup that shook viewers and cast members alike. Jess had initially been hesitant about pursuing love so publicly again. After a roller coaster time on The Bachelor, she wanted clarity, not confusion. She came to Paradise looking for a different kind of connection, something that would not only survive the cameras but also the silence when they stopped rolling. For a while, she thought she had found that with Andrew. Their early moments together were quiet but powerful. Jess and Andrew weren't the couple who made grand displays of affection or got caught in explosive love triangles. Instead, they built a rhythm that felt sustainable, sweet glances, supportive conversations, and a slow-building bond that fans quickly started rooting for. They just seem real, one viewer tweeted after their second date aired. And they did. But the truth is, in Paradise, what seems stable can shift in an instant. The first cracks in Jess and Andrew's relationship didn't come from drama. They came from doubt. Jess had started to feel that Andrew was holding back emotionally, even though he was always present physically. In her own words during a confessional, she said, "It's like he's here, but not really with me." The problem wasn't passion. It was vulnerability. Jess had started to want something deeper, and Andrew wasn't giving it. As new singles arrived, Jess began to question whether she was waiting for something that might never come. She confided in Eliza one night during a quiet chat by the water. "Do you ever feel like you're just hoping they'll open up, but they never really do?" Eliza nodded. "All the time," she said. "But when you're the one doing all the emotional labor, it's not a partnership." That conversation was the beginning of a mental shift for Jess. She started observing Andrew more critically, noticing the subtle ways he deflected serious talks or used humor to dodge uncomfortable questions. The shift in energy wasn't dramatic, but it was constant, and Jess, always so emotionally intelligent, began pulling back without saying a word. Producers started to notice the distance between them too. Jess stopped holding Andrew's hand. She stopped laughing at his jokes. And Andrew, whether out of denial or fear, didn't ask why. The moment of reckoning came during a group dinner, when Jess finally brought up how she'd been feeling. It wasn't a blowout. There were no accusations. Just Jess calmly asking, "Do you see this going anywhere?" Like really going anywhere. Andrew stared at his plate for a long moment before muttering, "I don't know." That "I don't know" was a silence that echoed louder than any argument. Jess didn't get up right away. She didn't cry. She just nodded, as if she had already known. Later in her confessional, she said, "I think I just needed to hear it out loud. That this wasn't going to work. That I wasn't crazy for feeling the distance." From there, things unraveled quickly. The next morning, Jess was packing her bags. Some of the other women tried to convince her to stay. Rachel even said, "You don't need to leave. You could still meet someone new. This doesn't have to be it." But Jess was done. "I came here for something honest," she told her. "And I'm not going to fake it just to stretch out airtime." The beach felt colder after Jess left. Even Andrew, who had seemed so detached just days earlier, began to visibly break down. "I think I just didn't realize what I had," he said during a conversation with Aaron. And now she's gone. Social media exploded. Jess trended on X, formerly Twitter, 4 hours. "She left with more grace than anyone ever has on this show," one post read. Another, "Andrew really fumbled Jess Edwards." Wow. But perhaps the most powerful part of Jess's breakup wasn't the heartbreak itself. It was how she handled it. With dignity. With clarity. With self-respect. Jess never once begged for more. She didn't try to salvage something that had been emotionally empty. She knew her worth, and she walked away before someone else had the chance to make her feel smaller. Back home, Jess stayed quiet for several days. Her Instagram went dark. No stories, no posts, no clues. Fans speculated about her mental state, with many praising her for taking time to process before speaking. When she finally did post, a simple photo of the ocean with the caption "Peace," the response was overwhelming. Tens of thousands of comments flooded in, most of them encouraging and full of admiration. In the weeks that followed, Jess did start talking. Slowly. In an interview with a popular Bachelor podcast, she shared more about what led her to leave. I think people forget that real emotions happen here. That it's not just a show. And for me, I wasn't going to stay in something just because people expected it to be cute on camera. She went on to describe the emotional weight of trying to make a one-sided connection work. There's a moment when you realize you're not being met halfway. And it's so quiet, that moment. But once you see it, once you really see it, you can't unsee it. Andrew, for his part, took longer to speak publicly. When he did, he expressed regret but also a sense of confusion. "I think Jess wanted something from me I didn't know how to give at the time," he said in a brief interview. And by the time I understood it, it was too late. Fans had mixed reactions. Some sympathized with Andrew, noting how emotional openness can be difficult for many men raised to suppress vulnerability. Others weren't as forgiving. "It's not about him being a bad guy," one fan wrote. "It's about Jess being a woman who knows what she deserves and not waiting around for someone to catch up." The conversation around Jess's breakup became bigger than just Bachelor in Paradise. It became a talking point on morning shows, in relationship podcasts, even in college psychology classes. Her story, a woman choosing emotional health over romantic fantasy, resonated far beyond reality TV. Jess eventually returned to social media, not with a tell-all, but with snippets of her healing process. A sunrise run, a book she was reading, a selfie with no makeup and the words, "Still here." As Paradise continued airing, her absence was felt. The beach moved on, couples formed and broke apart, but no one quite filled the quiet integrity Jess had brought to the show. Even the host mentioned it during the reunion taping. Jess Edwards taught a lot of people this season that knowing when to walk away is its own kind of love story. And maybe that's what made her breakup so powerful. It wasn't about loss. It was about self-respect. About choosing yourself when someone else won't. Jess didn't leave Paradise empty-handed. She left with clarity. And that, as it turns out, is rarer than any final rose. Bachelor in Paradise Season 10 has already led to several contestants coupling off, but I believe that one couple's lack of airtime means that they probably got engaged. Bachelor in Paradise Season 10 has introduced many changes, including a move from Mexico to Costa Rica, the addition of Hannah Brown as head of Paradise Relations, and the groundbreaking debut of the Golden contestants. So far, Bachelor in Paradise Season 10 has been full of romance, drama, and a few love triangles. However, one of the most solid couples is Spencer Conley and Jess Edwards, who shared the first kiss of the season. After a bumpy start when Jess went on a date with Sam McKinney, she gave Spencer her rose, and they've hardly had any airtime since. I believe this means that the rumors are true, and they got engaged in Paradise. In an Instagram post, Reality Steve shared that he believes that Jess and Spencer got engaged at the end of Bachelor in Paradise Season 10. They continued to exchange roses throughout all of the rose ceremonies, and they didn't go on any dates with anyone else. Reality Steve stated that he didn't think that there would be a Bachelor in Paradise season without a successful proposal, so he believes that it was Spencer and Jess who got engaged. It's unclear how the monetary aspect will come into play when it comes to their relationship. I believe that Reality Steve is correct based on how Jess and Spencer's relationship has played out during Bachelor in Paradise Season 10. They remind me of Season 7's Joe Amabile and Serena Pitt, who didn't have any drama in their relationship until Joe's ex-girlfriend, Kendall Long, showed up on the beach. However, their relationship was so strong that nothing could split them up. Jess and Spencer seem to be on a similar path. I feel that Jess and Spencer's easy and drama-free relationship will lead to them getting engaged and eventually married. They'd be the first couple to last since Season 7, as every couple from Seasons 8 and 9 eventually broke up, whether they left engaged or dating. Jess and Spencer had one of the main Bachelor in Paradise Season 10 storylines during the premiere episode when Jess was torn between Spencer and Sam, but after she chose Spencer at the first rose ceremony, they faded to the background. Jess and Spencer have settled into being the solid couple of the show, who've been commenting on others' drama, rather than having any of their own. I feel that, after watching the love triangles among Lexi Young, Justin Glaze, and Susie Evans, and Zoe McGrady, Brian Otts, and Parisa Shifta, it's refreshing to think that Jess and Spencer have a strong relationship that no one else can come between. Although Jess and Spencer were heavily featured in the Bachelor in Paradise Season 10 premiere, they were barely seen during the second and third episodes. The arrival of the golden contestants dominated episode 3, so there was even less screen time to go around. I hope that the show gives either Jess or Spencer a date card soon so that they can spend some quality time alone together, and so that viewers can see how far they've come as a couple since the first night that they met in person. Another reason that I think that Jess and Spencer are probably still together is because she's been interested in him for a while. In an interview with Parade, Jess shared that, before Bachelor in Paradise Season 10, while Spencer was appearing in Jen Tran's Bachelorette season, she followed him on Instagram because she thought that he was cute. She admitted that she slid into his DMs once or twice to comment about a dog and a recipe that he'd posted about. Jess also revealed that when she saw Spencer on the first day of Bachelor in Paradise Season 10, he immediately caught her eye. He was #1 on her list, and she wanted to speak to him right away. I was surprised when Jess agreed to go on a date with Sam, but she confessed in her Parade interview that, while she thought that Sam was nice, she didn't have the same vibe with him as she had with Spencer. Jess also shared that she was worried about Spencer the whole time that she was on the date with Sam. She felt that her connection with Spencer was so much stronger. I thought that it was so obvious that Jess had a stronger bond with Spencer than Sam, and I hoped that she'd choose Spencer in the end, especially because of the negative way that Sam had behaved when he was a contestant in Jen's season. I believe that, because Jess and Spencer haven't been featured heavily during Bachelor in Paradise Season 10 in the last 2 episodes, that they're probably the ones who got engaged. We're wrapping up here for today, but the excitement of trending gossip doesn't stop here. We'll be back with new surprises very soon. So stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe.